against Pulse, right? On the way up, because we want to take Pulse, get what Pulse gives us, but at the same time move against it. If we're paired to USDL, we're still to Pulse. But if USDL goes to ETH, or if we're paired to ETH, I'm just wondering what would be the bad part of it when it goes up. Because do we lose the ETH? Because if Pulse does better than ETH, people would be. I just like that. Anyways, I'm gonna think about it because the USDL, bro, I'm telling you, is such a play. If we could bring it to ETH and make it a stable coin,
Is it possible?
yeah, of course it's possible.
You can wrap anything as long as somebody puts their head up for it.
Exactly, but that's another thing too. Is like 5 million and 10 million is a big difference than 50,000, right? Like let's say we could get $50,000, right, and put it together and make a pool. It's not the same as like 500,000 or 5 million. But when you're at 5 million, $10 million of a liquidity, right? So if the whales would be enticed to do that, well, anyways, let's actually forget about 5 million because it's not even feasible that because there's only 4.7 of Pulse. Let's say they do like 500 to a million, 500,000 to $1 million of USDL and die as a pool. That USDL would then get more of a dollar value. So the arbing would occur more because you would have the redemptions and you would have the arb from ETH. So then you would have the opportunity to always keep the price at a dollar, meaning that you could, if slowly you build enough of a pool, you could take the USDL and make Pulse just even more valuable because Pulse is actually worth more than is actually worth something more than what is bridged in. And the USDL doesn't need the stuff that's the pairing of what's bridged in. Because right now USDL is strictly what's bridged in. It's only worth a dollar to the point where people get, liquidated and so on and so forth. So in my head, I'm like, okay, well the play is that that's gonna be our stable coin. If we want it to be worth something, you bring it there, pair it. And then if we were to pair it with HOA, we could always floor. The floor is ours. The support is always ours because of the stable. But that's on the way down, right? So it's against, so pushing against, right? So right now we have a community that always pushes against Pulse, but we still need a play to make sure that when people try to push HOA against Pulse and make Pulse go up, because they're like, okay, I'm good with this. Now I want to put back in Pulse, that it doesn't bring us down. So we need to have a play where if someone brings it down, then we arb it. And when you arb it, you arb it with the stable. So it's like a limit buy because lowering the ratio lowers our price automatically.
Remember, Richard always said arbitrary stable coins wouldn't work. So I'm still trying to figure out what he really meant by that.
But it's not a stable coin though. If you make it a stable coin, it becomes a stable coin, right? It's not a stable coin by design, in my opinion, right? Because it's off of Pulse, which is off of the bridge. But then if you go ahead and take that dollar and make a dollar on ETH, if people dump it on ETH, which they won't do because if they will first dump it on Pulse, always. It's less time, it's less money, it's faster. It makes no sense for someone to go and take out what they have here, right? So this idea
That's
that
true.
someone's gonna just go on ETH and take everything I have makes no sense because if he does that, I could just take everything on the other side and go back and just get back more. So it's like once you create the other side, you can never the one side arb with my own supply. That's what people don't get. I could arb with my own supply and keep putting money in and just keep taking out what I start with. And every time I take
That's
out what I
true.
start with, I but
You
and
could.
and if we
That
were
was
to
the right
and if
word.
we
You
and
could,
if we were
but you
and if
won't
we
do.
were 100%, so it's and if we do that with the stable coin, right, then it becomes a support like the way that the DAI is right now to the system. I actually didn't think the stable coin would be that much of a support, but it makes sense. But on the way up, we're gonna lose a lot of it. So I would rather lose a lot of what is going up, right? So ETH, Bitcoin, Pulse, Hex, we're gonna lose a lot to it because a lot of people are gonna buy in. They're gonna FOMO in. The ratios are gonna be like, oh, they missed 2x, 3. You're gonna lose stable in the system. But I see like that's the right move because you don't want to really trade your Pulse and you don't want to trade your ETH. But I'm willing to trade a stable coin because right now the stable coin is gonna be less valuable next year. And I know ETH is going to be more valuable next year. So I'm ready to end Pulse and Hex. And I think that USDL will be worth more too. Because if you create the ARB on ETH, then what happens is that by logic, by our logic and how we view it, everything on Pulse Chain is more expensive than on ETH. So as long as there's a ratio on ETH, it will always be more expensive on Pulse. And if ever it's on Pulse, it's less expensive, you can go ahead and make money off, and you can go ahead and arb through yourself, through your that liquidity, and then you can make that liquidity grow through arbing. So now it's like it's only a matter of time, in my opinion, before we take over Uniswap. It's only a matter of time, and people need to see it, like that it's growing.
It's an interesting strategy. So for sure, and I think the reason for Richard having us look more into liquidity providing and all these strategic thoughts is how the game works. This is how the game works. Yeah.
Oh, I've been man, I've been screaming that before the launch. You know that I've been screaming to everyone to learn before launch, and now we are where we are, and it is what it is. But it's this is the game. This is what the people don't get. The amount, like, even people in real life don't get, like, what's the value of taking out your crypto. Every time someone's taken out their crypto, in my opinion, they themselves, and that new bottom is always like the last top. But one thing I could promise you is Bitcoin goes up, comes back down, goes back up, passes the last top, comes back down, goes back up, passes the last top, comes back down, and it keeps doing that, and it keeps doing that. So there is a high chance that that continues. So if that's the case, then you just need to, like, look at the system as, like, okay, if we do a 10x on Pulse and Heath does a 10x, we're consequentially doing a 100x. You're doing a 10x on every x. So you're doing 10 times 10. So if Heath does a 20 and we do a 50, there's your 1000x. That's what people don't get. That's why all these other chains did all those X's. They didn't do X's in themselves. They did X's because of how the market pushed them. This is the EVM. The EVM has been working like this since the beginning. This is why Polkadot and ADA
That's
have
true.
nothing. This is why Polkadot and ADA don't even move in synchronism with ETH. They're on their own lane. They're on their own wavelength. They want to be in their own lane. But everything in the EVM works like that. If you pair it to ETH on the way up, ETH is going to go up, and then you go up. Whatever you do, you times it with what ETH does.
I mean, it's logical. You could somehow explain it like that. Every position in the liquidity pool will actually like sell their ETH to get more pools or
Well,
whatever
it's not
token
that
on
they
our
will.
side.
It's not that they will. But if you move the ratio, right? So if you move the ratio by a 10x on something that does a 10x, you just did a 100x. That's what people don't get. And I've been trying to scream it to the top of my lungs, because it's like, guys, you don't get it. This is the reason why I don't want to buy a house with a crypto and put and this is why I don't want to buy real estate with crypto. But I'm gonna allow you to like, what people don't get is that I use real estate to keep buying crypto, but I will never use my crypto to buy real estate. I'm gonna take something else, and, like, for me it's weird because my positions are bad, where it's like every month you sign in, you say, okay, next month's payment I want it in, you choose Bitcoin, ETH, Pulse, boom 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 boom, you get this gives you the quotes. Okay, I want that. Boom. You don't have to see. You can sit back, and the business just sends it to you. And as a business, we could do that because I'm in Portugal, so I could do whatever I want with crypto. And I don't even need to buy the house full. I could go ahead and use my business to get multiple properties with a certain amount of money, so it becomes even more profitable. So forget about a 10% a year APY. You're looking at like a 40 to 50 to 60% APY.
But isn't your financing of the houses also like with a bank? So you will be bound to rates of loans and stuff. So if the rate will go up, the profit margin will likely decrease for your investors. Or do you have like the houses paid in full?
Well, right now, I'm not going to give all my secrets of my business, but
Sure, sir.
we definitely have multiple options. There's various options as a business in Portugal. If I think you're the gentleman who's in Portugal, no? Yeah.
No, I don't live in Portugal. No.
Oh no, sorry. So there's another one. Then I'm sorry. It's probably his name's Christos. There's one person in Alvor has this kind of the same name as you. That's why. But no, when you're in Portugal, it's different. You could do what you want. You don't even have to. There's a lot of cool things when you're an actual business that does everything, and plus we do everything. So already, so we have a turnkey service in that already. So we buy, sell, renovate, and rent the houses. So it's very easy.
Yeah, but when I go onto Ethereum on Etherscan and type in,
I'm gonna do it with you. Okay, give me a sec. Oh my god, it's right here. Wow, it's like God wanted me to do it with you. Okay, so let's do it together.
yeah, cool.
Pulsechain Sacrifice, cool.
Get out your notepad, dude. He's gonna tell you how to do it.
Pulsex sacrafice. Yeah, so I'm seeing $2.7 billion of hex, $120,000 of ETH, and the last transaction hash was 16 days ago.
You got the wrong address, Cleo.
The one that I've got ends in DDC8, and that's the address that I remember sacrificing to. Oh, multi-chain portfolio. I'm seeing. So this multi-chain portfolio, what is that? $3 billion worth of Ethereum. That's not Richard Arts, surely. I'm seeing $278 million worth of ETH.
I feel like he's just gonna be a market make, right? Doesn't that make the most sense?
You should report him to the SEC.
Yeah, if we go down, are you gonna report him again, dude?
I'm actually bit buzzing too now. Now I'm filtering the ERC20 Pulsex Sacrifice wallet with DAI, and I have nothing.
Maybe he rugged it. Did he transfer it all out?
No, it would show me a transaction. No. Right now I'm filtered. I'm on the advanced filter. Type ERC20 from Pulsex Sacrifice asset DAI. Nothing.
Oh, you guys are under the wrong tab. Go to ERC20 tab.
I am in the ERC20 tab. all you have to do is just go on Hex. It's the top address.
He's got $3.4 million of BNB.
Yeah, BNB is part of the sacrifice too.
Damn, this bloke has got so much money. It's unbelievable.
Obvious, right? Or
So, hang on a minute. This multi-chain portfolio I'm seeing, it says it's got $3 billion worth of ETH, but in the breakdown, I'm not seeing that ETH anywhere. I'm only seeing $120,000 worth of ETH. This is
if it's because it's multi-chain, the other chains probably are listing random that has value or is valued different.
Imagine if he didn't put any of the sacrifice money into PLS, he'd be known as the world's biggest cunt.
So yeah, this wallet hasn't moved anything, right?
I only moved $80 million. I moved $80 million.
What, he's moved $80 million from ETH to Pulsechain?
Oh, now I'm seeing it. For some reason, it was giving me 100 and something days ago.
Oh, that's hilarious. Someone sends Zen Crypto. I think they're going to break. If he wants to, if he continues, he's gonna break it. He's just gonna buy out all the drifters that could probably drift. They haven't drifted already.
I think most of the sellers are out, and he knows that. But give it one good pump like this, maybe up to sack, and get the rest out.
Well, it's helped that there's there's almost 4 million on the other side now. There's 3.5 million on the other side. It's gonna start doing some volume, man. And if he's going at the SEC right now, I think it's in our interest and it's in the whale's interest to start bumping these things up. Well, yes and no. I would bump it just a bit more. Pulse is good with 3 point. I would say Pulse needs to go to like between 6 to 10. Pulsex like 1 to 3. Hex like between 5 to 10, and you just leave it like that.
Dude, I'm about to sell my house, man. I'm like, you could have waited 2 more months for me, buddy.
Oh, I haven't heard this, David, in a long time. Holy.
It's good to just have his name out there and kind of like, swimming in and out of the community, like at least on X, is it attracts other god whales. He's not the only god whale, you guys. Like, there's other people out there with fat bags that want to do something better with their money.
That is absolutely true. Like, there's, I think in the main Godwell wallet, like that big wallet, is, but he's got like 30,000 ETH, which is still a ton of ETH.
And that's after he gave away 800 million X to Lance.
Like, oh my god! And then look at the other he gave away $9 million to liquid loans.
All of it should
They're
come
smart.
like at the launch. People are saying all of that money should just go into the chain now. I'm actually glad he waited. Whoever he is, I'm glad that whoever's in control of that wallet waited until the weekends dumped out and like we went down like we did. Even like it didn't make sense. So you would just be wasting the money on people extracting it from the system. I'd like to see it stick around for a little bit and used to in a leveraged position. Basically, when I say that, I mean leveraging community is buying power also, and the fact that people do like buying green candles. And until you know that you can make several green candles because there's less sellers, it doesn't make any sense to even attempt it. So I'm glad he waited.
Well, here's what a lot of people miss. There's a lot more. Like,
Exactly.
people
What did he
think
like?
that's it.
5 million is nothing. Nothing.
You got to understand. the plan's probably been drawn out for at least like 4 to 6 months. Like that's if he started, like it's not like the fuse has been lit. You know, there's no reason at this point, and I think it's because he hired good lawyers. They actually told him like what he
That's what I
can
was
and can't
thinking.
do.
He
Like
learned what he's
his
allowed to
comments.
do and not go to jail.
Yeah, he's represented now. He's not. He has very good counsel, and he actually opened up like the
Never
comments on
seen
his
better.
post. Like a lot of
I've
that stuff
literally
that he
never
did.
seen a fucking better lineup. Johnny, OJ Simpson didn't have this lineup, and the dude killed his ex-wife allegedly.
OJ Simpson wasn't a
Right,
billionaire.
true, good point. But like, I've never seen a lineup like it's literally the Avengers of the legal team.
To see like he wanted to launch in a bear market. What's his favorite chart? The hockey stick, and he's literally it's happening right now.
It's
We're
crazy.
at
Like
the start. We're at the start.
he engineered this like so incredibly. That's why I'm like willing to forego all of the character flaws and all of like the nonsense. Like I think he's done some nonsense. Like he's a super smart guy. Like I still watch his videos. Like I still go back and watch like the old interviews and stuff. And what I'll tell you is that almost all of the videos start out very professional. Like if you actually go back and look, like he's actually very cordial, very like great like business etiquette. It's just that it always like devolves once he hears like enough like he just like can't help himself for people to kind of like unravel
Appreciate
like,
him
what
for
it
what he
that
really is. I
actually
agree.
accomplished.
And then I like how he's grown too, because if you go back and watch his old videos, you'll see how he loved the Lightning Network back in the day. Back in the day, he loved the Lightning Network. This is like pre-hex. This is before Bitcoin hex days. He loved the Lightning Network.
We are still so okay. Listen, there's hex state for 15 years. Like I want to see what he's gonna do in the next 10 years. Surely he isn't done. He's gonna be around for a while. We don't know what the future of crypto looks like. I'm sure that Richard is gonna be at the forefront of it.
So my question is, are these, some of these lawyers got the connections? Nah, I'm not going to cut to the conclusion on that. But there's a lot of connections with these lawyers. Man.
Well, spill the beans.
I told you Richard Hart going to come back sooner or later. I was just say that. He coming back on stream. It's going to surprise everybody. And that's what's happening right now.
Oh, we'll beat
But,
we'll beat the full 4 days hex conference views in 1 minute if Richard goes live.
oh yeah, I mean it's happening within the next. I think it's happening this month. He'll show up this month, and now
Yeah,
you
man,
kind of see
they got their Twitter
how
hacked.
stacked the lawyers are. Like it's basically a collection of connections.
Did you think the Twitter got hacked?
Huh?
You think the Twitter got hacked?
Hell no, man! That was the fastest hacking recovery ever known to mankind. It got hacked and like 2 minutes later. Usually, if you get hacked, it takes you forever to get back into Twitter. There's no way, within a couple of minutes, you got hacked, then unhacked somehow, some way, and you're talking security.
Elon Musk needs to come in and be like, nah, it's the same IP address every time that account logs in. It was them.
Yeah, if he did that, that would be the kick in the nuts. So yeah, it's a lawyer of connections. I'm sure everyone read my post. The guy here in Dallas is, everyone complaining about the DOJ and all that stuff. You think someone that's worked with the DOJ can, get all that information and Rich should be as confident as he is to step out and be like that? If the DOJ, your lawyer's got connections with the DOJ, nothing to be worried about anymore. That's why you're seeing it in price.